This is how I feel right now. Yeah, the nighttime session, exactly. This is how I feel right now. This is how I feel right now. Yeah, the nighttime
I'm on
session, exactly.
35
right
hours
now.
straight.
This is how
My
I
eyes
feel
are
right
bloodshot
now.
red.
Yeah, the nighttime
I'm on
session.
sorry for the
exactly.
late one today, everyone.
Straight. This is
Welcome
how I
to the
feel
live
right
broadcast.
now.
I gotta make sure I click my own stream so that you guys don't hear me talking, double talking. Let's bring it to life. Let's bring it to life. Let's go. Let's do this. Welcome everyone to the live broadcast. It is true. I've been up for 35 hours. I am on a no sleep bender right now. How bad are my eyes? I don't look like myself, but let's give her. Let's just keep going. Okay, everyone, welcome to the live broadcast. So, generally, I start these, I introduce myself. My name is Josh. I'm an entrepreneur, co-founder of List Easier, the document, which is us building a business with $100 million worth of listed inventory, and we're doing it primarily on eBay. And List Easier Artificial Intelligence, which is a software company, which is the core fabric, the thing that makes this all happen. It's the flux capacitor that allows us to do this. So we use List Easier Artificial Intelligence, and we crank these listings up because of it. So we found some really good stuff. I actually found a really good piece. I'll talk about that in a second. But anyway, so I've been selling and buying on eBay for a long, long time, 20 years at least, 1999. So 25, 26 years. It was always a hobby because I was a collector. I've been a collector my whole life. So I would buy and sell as a collector. But in 2020, I made the full-time jump, and this has led to where we are today. So what's going on? What's changed in the past 24 hours? Whenever I do this broadcast, I talk about the things that have changed. I found a super cool magazine. I got here a little bit early. I found a super cool magazine with all signatures inside the magazine from professional baseball players from the 50s. So that was super cool. I think that's a super cool piece. I got to double check and see who the signatures are all of. But I think there was Willie Mays was on the cover. It's awesome. It's super awesome. So there's been that. There was, in my family, there was a medical emergency. So that happened at around, I want to say 5:30 yesterday night. And that ended up with me, pretty much in a hospital waiting room for 18 or 19 hours combined. No, shorter than that. 9 for 13 hours, I guess. 13 hours in the hospital. So, but it was right through overnight. And then again today, it's just been my time is all messed up. Anyone who's ever done this, if you've done overnighters, all-nighters, whatever you want to call it, you can't even comprehend what time it is today. What day is it today? What time is it? Where am I? That's kind of where I'm at. So forgive me in this broadcast. But that was a big thing for me. So everything is okay. I don't want to go too much into it because I don't want to, divulge anybody's medical details or their personal things that are going on. But suffice it to say, everything is as okay as it's going to be. But it's been crazy, 36 hours or so, 35 hours. But I wanted to come on here and do a live in case anybody has any sort of customer support or anything like that. I want to be here. I want to be in front of everybody. And honestly, it's kind of a nice break to just sit down and kind of talk with you all or to you all, whatever you want to say, and just flip my mindset away from everything else that's going on. So that is a good thing. I did not record the Profit Playbook podcast. That records at 1. And I just texted the guys. I was still in the hospital at that point in time. And I was like, guys, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. And I don't even think I can contribute anything to the conversation. I'm just not sharp enough. So they went ahead and recorded it without me. And that will be live again on Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So looking forward to seeing that. And What else? List Easier is sponsoring some minor sports program. That is, although List Easier is like, that's going to be credited to List Easier, but I'm going to pay for that out of my own funds because this is something I've always wanted to do. So it's going to have List Easier credit. We're donating back to the community, back to minor sports. My son plays minor sports. We met with the local MPP a long time ago, and it was something that we said we're going to do once things really got going. So we are donating back into the community, back into the minor sports program. I think it's a worthy cause. I think it's important. I think it's important for kids to be active and out there and competitive and all those things. So that is something that I'm personally going to take on, but it's going to be List Easier. Is going to be like the face of it because I think that's the right thing to do. So that's going on as well. And what else? Last 24 hours. Listing. We have some big breaks here. Some big revenue breaks. We can feel the momentum. We can feel it going. I hope you are all having great sales. I saw that Joe, the Profit First reseller, had a massive sales day. People have been emailing me that they've been having big sales days. So I hope that everything is really running and on track for everyone. Good days, bad days. Remember, last week, people saying had a lot of bad days, couple bad days here and there. And the thing we do is we just keep going. Every day we keep moving forward and we get a little bit of progress with what we have to do. And we ride this roller coaster. We all know what it looks like. Call it the lighthouse, call it the roller coaster. We ride it. But there's just a lot of positive energy out there. I saw Mike Metco and Mary did an interview with John Cincinnati Picker, and something that John Cincinnati Picker said, which I think is very well placed, is there's just so much positivity out there, and that's what he likes to lean into. And I agree 100%. There is a lot of opportunity and positivity out there, and we're leaning into it as well. The camera is in the way here. I can move this if you'd like, but I think it's kind of cool that it's sitting there. Like, it's kind of a neat little thing. It was incidental, but I can move it if you'd like, but it's kind of neat that it's there. Maybe it puts me a little bit out of focus. But the big difference in the past 24 hours are the numbers. If you've sent me an email or a text is better. I was answering my text because I was kind of just sitting there waiting most of the night. So if you sent me text, you were getting text back. But if you sent me an email, I'm a little bit behind, like 12 hours behind or so. I'll start sending back tonight. So I apologize. If you've sent me something you haven't heard back, it's just been crazy. Like 36 hours are crazy, but I will get back to you ASAP. And what else? That's about it. That's about everything that's been going on. But life happens, Life happens. It will continue to happen. Unplanned things happen. And, what I always just take from this is we aren't here forever. It's a 100% guarantee that we will not, all of us will not be here in 100 or 150 years. So you got to make it count. So I want to make it count. And part of it, to me, making it count is showing up because, this is our baby. I want to be here for it. I want to be present. Okay, let's talk about the numbers. List Easier has 2 accounts. I like this camera here. This looks pretty cool. It's sharp. And it does a better job with the colors as well. It's not as washout. Doesn't look as much washoutish. It's going to be a hard day. It's going to be a hard hour, everyone. I need you all to help me out on this one. We have 2 accounts. List Easier _records, List Easier _books. The stuff in List Easier _books is hot right now. List Easier _books is hot. Stuff like this, a signed program, 1954, for the Adams State College Indians. Stuff like that is turning up, just super, super cool stuff. So we're putting that up. A lot of books, like all that kind of stuff. Really, really cool, awesome stuff. I was supposed to make a call today. I'm just not in the right mind. So the deal making for me, all the deal making that I had to do today is going to get pushed off until tomorrow. It is what it is. But I still feel like we're on top of everything and everything's going smooth. I should probably make sure that everyone can hear me. Yes, everybody can hear me. Good. One thing I'll say, so the topic of conversation. Oh, no, keep going with the numbers, Josh. Listeasier_books, Listeasier_records on eBay. Heart us as a saved seller. There, that's my best heart emoji. Heart us as a saved seller. We have 12,815 listings up. That's incredible. And this monster number, this number's up like $20,000 in a day. $314,889.31 listed. Rocket ship to the moon here. That is crazy because we've only been doing this for 53 days. And a lot of that time was spent on these 78 records, which were very breakable. Like they're brittle. They're, some of them had to be cleaned. The storage on them, like all this stuff. So that slowed us down a lot. But look at this. $315,000. We've broken 300,000. So the next goal on the listed number is $500,000. I think it's going to happen. I think probably middle of March, the way we're going. That's awesome. 53 days live and total revenue, $17,511.89. That number has jumped up a lot as well. So things are going really well, and we're just going to keep going. Stay focused every single day. Keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. I am making a bet on this business that it's going to be very successful and that this is the correct path over my own business, WHS Stereo View. I feel this in my bones that this is the correct path. This is flying. Within 9 months, the total listed value is already going to exceed what's in my store, and that store took me 5 years. And there are some super high value items in there that make the difference up, like big, 15,000, 25,000, like nice big items. So this is just going awesome. And I hope you are all staying disciplined and you're doing this too. Like when we're doing these lives, I feel like we're not the only ones. You guys are doing it also. I feel like we're crossing the field together. So anyway, I'm pumped. I'm pumped. It's awesome. I feel good. And I can't wait to go to bed tonight. And JR Rodaffer says, hey, waiting in my Tesla lobby for Model Y to be serviced, needs windshield washer fluid, laugh out loud. I hope you're still not waiting. That message was like 4 hours today, or 4 hours ago. Eric Bressy says you have to go to a service station for washer fluid, and they're laughing about it. Why 4 p.m. today? So, JR Rodeffer, we did this at 4 because I had to go to the hospital for others, not me, at around 5:30, 6 o'clock. That requires like a lot. There's a lot involved here and things that are going on. But that led to basically the entire night. Well, not basically. Yes, the entire night spent in the hospital. And then in the morning, going back to someone's house, getting everything ready so that we could go back to the hospital again. And I got out of there probably around 1:30, I would think, this afternoon. So I went back to my house afterwards, drove back to my house, showered, cleaned up, came here, and we're here at 4 o'clock. It's pretty much the earliest I could do it. J.R. Rodeffer says life does happen when you least expect it. Yeah, make plans and life will change them. Hope everything is okay, says In It to Flip It. Everything is good. Thank you very much, Appreciate you in it to flip it, and thank you for being here. James Helferstay says, knock, knock, knock. Good to see you, James. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Flippin' Ain't Easy says, what's up, Josh? You're messing up my processes by having this thing so late in the day, right? I know. This is not a permanent thing. This is emergency broadcast. Emergency broadcast. We crossed 300,000. This is an emergency broadcast, but I do want to be present every single day. I want everyone to really see how serious we are with List Easier, and like we're here. So even up 35 hours, we're here. The time down, traveling, I want to be here or at least put something out. That way, if anybody has anything, like you can just reach me directly. The face is here. Nice. John JUK says, loving the nighttime session. Thank you. Appreciate you for that. It is very late for you. You're around 9 or 10 o'clock right now. Flip It Good says, hi, Josh. Good to see you, Flip It Good. Here, to make it a truly nighttime session, this is how I feel. I just want to hide away in this thing. That's why I'm wearing it. And just disappear for, close my eyes and just drop off. Dave the Dude Harrington says, what's up, Josh? Good to see you, Dave. Welcome, welcome. Snoopy Collector, shooting the blood out the hand. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Lucky Fine says, good afternoon. Thank you, Josh. Good to see you. J.R. Rodeffer says, I like the Ray-Bans. They are my favorite sunglasses. Yeah, these are the 55s. So these are the 5518s, the 20 RB 2132s. I like these as well. I've always wanted a pair, and now I have a pair, so I feel good about it, although not as good as I thought I would. Mike Seller from South Dakota says, hey, Josh and chat. Good to see you, Mike. Everybody's here. Despite the late time, everybody is here. What day is it today? Is it Thursday? It's Thursday, right? I don't think Primo's on today. Eric Gunta says, hey, good to see you, Eric. Welcome, welcome. Joe says, hi, Josh, you didn't interfere with my breakfast today. I know. Now I'm interfering with the East Coast dinner. Primo Kimo says, aloha, Josh, and the Chip and Pepper crew. Yeah, I'm wearing comfy stuff now. I'm not, it's the end of the day. I just want to be comfortable and warm right now. I don't want to be dressed, the way I should be. Thomas SSS says, hey, Josh, any tips on how to take pictures of CDs on List Easier? My iPhone 1:1 aspect ratio has a background remover usually messes up the edges. Yeah, what we do, you can see it here, Thomas, we have a stationary camera on a rail. So down here, there is a black background, and we just adjust the zoom so that it takes a picture on the back background. And then all we're doing, we're not adjusting cameras that way. We set the aspect ratio in the camera app, and then we're just taking photos. And that's how we do it. So we're just moving the CDs around, and then we use this little clicker, the wireless clicker, to capture an image, and that's pretty much how we do it. Background removal tool, I mean, if you're selling like a $10,000 statue or a $5,000 statue or something like that, where it's a super high quality photo matters, or you have multi-quantity, so you have like rims. You're selling Rockstar rims. You want to have that listing immaculate because you have a whole warehouse of that kind of rim. Then I would take out background removal. But honestly, for one-off items, I think it's a waste of time. I would sooner put that time into making a pretty good background, like a solid picture setup where that background is the same all the time. And then just take photos. For CDs, I don't think I would do background removal, honestly. I would just go to Dollar General. They have those, because this is all flat lay. You get a piece of Bristol board for like $1 or $1.25. The black stuff or the white stuff, you slide it underneath your stationary camera, Let's start snapping pictures. John J. UK says, glad to see Beard back on YouTube. PPP back this weekend. Yes, Profit Playbook podcast is back this weekend. It is 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and 8 a.m. Pacific Time. I don't know what it is UK time. I will not be on this broadcast because of today, everything that's gone on, but they will be doing it, and they're both very happy that they've got their channels back. You know, it's very stressful when you build a channel over, like, let's say 10 years. I don't know how long they've been doing it for, but if you do it for 10 years and then one day you lose everything and you're kind of in this position where it's like, trust the process, but no one's giving you any information back. So, your mind starts spinning like, what if I lose it forever? What if I don't get it back? How could this happen? You go through all the stages of grief. So for them to get it back, it's a really good thing. It's very frustrating and it's very violating that someone gets in there and they start playing with things and doing stuff. It is like someone going into your house and then just making themselves at home and changing the locks on the door. And you just can't get in no matter what you do. So it's good that they're back. Dave the Dude says, don't worry, the scammers don't care when you get back to clicking on links. IdeaPad does not like AI, says AI sucks or Al sucks. John J. UK says, List Easier has caused me to run out of stock for the first time in 5 years. John, don't you feel like you have control over everything now, though? You know what I mean? All that stuff was sitting around and you couldn't get to it and it's overwhelming and you're like, I'm behind on my books, I'm behind on my organization. And now, like, we only launched in UK, I don't know, it's like a month ago, 6 weeks ago. It hasn't been that long. And within 6 weeks, you go from that feeling like there aren't enough hours in the day to I am out of stock. I'm in complete control of this business now. So no matter what happens, John J. UK is in total control. He's now taking care of the death pile. He's got everything organized and on shelves. Can start working on neglected parts of the business, like marrying boxes so that you can free up more space or getting organized. Like, you're in control now. You are now a business owner, whereas before you feel more like an operator. At least I did. Like, it was always trying to, I don't know, like, I want to say you're trying to catch the squirrel. It's fast, it's darting all over the place. No matter what you do, you just can't get control over it. And now, you got it. So I think that feeling is one of the biggest things. And it to flip, it says Spencer is in the background silently crushing it with listing. Spencer left early today. She did crush it this morning, but Spencer the Oracle left early because she's under the weather. Super Dave is under the weather. My entire household is under the weather. There's stuff going on, medical stuff going on. Also, it's crazy right now. Like, I'm the lone survivor, I feel like, and I knock on wood because I really cannot get sick right now. Like, I cannot. It'd be the absolute worst time. Kenneth says, have them check the turn signal fluid as well. Yeah, and use the premium turn signal fluid, Kenneth. That's don't use the cheap stuff. Pink Paws Australia says, I finally caught a live. Loving List Easier in Perth, Western Australia. It's 5:15 in the morning there. Are you a coffee drinker, Pink Paws? And thank you for the kind comment, by the way. I haven't seen you in a while, and I guess it's the time change. But are you a coffee drinker? Do you put sugar in your coffee? Black? I can't wait for morning so that I can have a coffee. So this is why yesterday messed me up so much, but around, I want to say 6 o'clock, I'm looking forward to 8:30 so I can go to bed. And just before I go to bed, I'm really looking forward to 5:30 that I can get up early and have a cup of coffee before the sun comes up. So that whole part of my routine and having a good sleep, like I love all that. So yesterday was hard. Last night, I think, whatever it is. In it to flip it, laugh out loud at the turn signal fluid. Okay, guys, please help me with comments. I'm dying here. Help me. J.R. Rodeffer says, let's have a List Easier get together in a year or so. We have nothing else to do now that List Easier does all the hard work. That's something that we thought about. I think it would be fun. I like the idea. So we've never sponsored anything really, J.R. Rodeffer, but now we're starting to. So, we have the Cincinnati Reseller Rally that John is pretty much, he's doing all the organizing, but it's also Pete, Craigslist Hunter, and I think Lonnie and Candace from Shed Flips. I don't know if they're just attending or they're also organizing, but I'm excited to have List Easier on the ticket there because we've never done this. We've never sponsored any event before. We want to give back, but we're like, what do we do? I don't even know what to do. I just want to meet people and have a good time. So I don't know what's all required, but I think once we get comfortable with it, I would like to do more things. I really enjoyed eBay Open, primarily because I got to meet so many people. So, people would come up and say, this name in your comment section, that's me. Or they would tell me, about their family and what they were doing and what they were selling. And it was kind of a lot, it was a lot of fun. The people were amazing. So I would like to do something like that too. Or, come in, build a tighter relationship to someone who's already doing this, and then just keep making that event better and better and better. And just be like, hey, let's work together on this. So this is a big year for us with that kind of stuff. Never done it before, but I'm excited to do it. And it does feel good to give back because the community this is going to sound cliche, but the community created List Easier 100%. It's thousands of comments and thousands of people that are reaching out. We're talking back and forth that strengthen the software. So we want to give back, have some fun is the best way to do it. Lee Smithy says, I just had a buyer ask for a zoomed out picture of a CD. Some buyers don't want to see a cropped picture. Yeah, I agree. For us, it's like, well, you guys can see our accounts, but we take pretty standard pictures. It's usually just 2 pictures. Honestly, sometimes with some of the books, people will say, is there this wiring diagram on page 42? Whether we took more pictures or not, I usually don't entertain that because I'm like, I don't know what, I don't even really know what I'm looking at with this book. So there is a diagram on there, but, I don't know where I was going with that. My mind is kind of going out. It's going in or out here. Goodbye, everybody. I don't know where I was going with that. We're gonna disappear back down and go to sleep. But where was I going with that? Here's where I was going with that, Lee. I will only go so far with the buyers. So if a buyer's asking question after question on a $10 or $15 or $20 item, at some point you're like, you don't really want to buy this. You're more interested in having a conversation. So I'll do my best, but I think that Chris, Daily Refinement, really gave some good advice when he said, this item has been photographed and it's packed and ready to ship. We do offer free returns. So even if you don't like what you get, you can return it for free. So now you've taken the pain point away from the buyer, which is, if it's not what they want, what do? So you take the pain point away and you say you can return it for free. So there's no risk on your part. And if they still don't buy it, they probably never were going to. Black Sheep Brad says, what a nightmare. Yeah, losing your channel, Brad, is such a nightmare. Good to see you, by the way. I'm glad you stopped by. It's such a brutal nightmare. Thomas SSS says, SSSS, Said, did Beard get his entire channel back? Any hope for him to retrieve it? He's got it back. I think everybody is good. Profit Playbook Podcast is back. John Flippin' Ain't Easy is back. And Bearded Picker is back. So everybody's back. I saw a text message chain that the boys that and I have, and they were talking about how they're going through old videos, checking to make sure that these scammers didn't make themselves managing moderators, and like they're really going through it with a fine-tooth comb to make sure that there's no remnants of garbage left on the channel. Pink Paws is a coffee drinker. That's awesome. I add milk to the first one and then grab a latte on the way to do the day job. That's what I do too. Milk. A little bit of milk just to take the edge off. I don't like it black. And then I'll probably do a second one. And yeah, maybe a latte later on. I usually top out at 3 coffees, although I don't know how much coffee I've had today. A lot. But I do. I love coffee. I love the taste of coffee. I really do enjoy it. Beard King Picker Alex says, hello. Good to see you. Glad to see everyone got their channels back. That's awesome. Yeah, it feels like all is right in the world. I don't think it's fair that if you're a victim of identity theft, that you are permanently now a victim. So you don't ever get your channel back. You're permanently going to be victimized. So nobody did anything wrong. Was it a mistake to click on the email from the sponsor? I don't know, because when you see it, I never click on them, but that's just because, I never really cared, to be honest with you. I'm like, why would anybody reach out to me? I've got 10,000 subs, like 400 or 500 people watch. Why would you? I just don't trust it. But you get them as a content creator every single day. You get like 1, 2, 3, 4 a day asking for partnerships. So that's not outside of the ordinary. And, if someone puts it in the title that it's Coca-Cola and it looks really legit, you can open it and all of a sudden you lose your account. So I get it. Brad is saying hi to Alex Beard King Picker. You know what you'd be really good on is if you were on that podcast with Brad, Corey, Chris, and Leroy. I think you would be a good compliment to them, honestly. James says, what if one of my personalities takes over my channel? I'm kind of scared. You did already. It's Dolly. Dolly took it over for a while. Beard King Picker says, I never check emails, so I should be good. I have to. I absolutely have to. I used to be like that, and I think the reason why a lot of eBay sellers don't check their email, because you get all the notifications of the sales and the listings and everything else that eBay sends you, and your inbox goes crazy. So I have a dump box here. I don't know if you can see the number, but it's like 105,000 emails, and that's the dump box for eBay's communications. So once you see numbers like that, you're like, this is like, I'm not reading emails anymore. I get hundreds a day. But in my, I want to call them business accounts, there's 2 of them. One of them's attached to this channel. The other one, Josh at List Easier. I have to be on top of that because people depend on answers. They may get in a jam this second. They don't like talking on the phone. They're going to send an email. They want that answer pretty soon because they're working on that problem right now. That's a detriment to Alex, says Brad. John JUK says, I wonder what customer support is worst, eBay's or YouTube's? They're such massive companies, Let's say if okay, I don't want to talk about eBay or YouTube, either of them, because then I don't want to bite the hand that feeds me, but what if there was a company called eTube and it had 16 million users? I can tell you from 4,000 users that customer support is a lot of work, but we enjoy it because it helps us build. But could you imagine 16 million users? what their customer support must look like, or not anymore, eTube, but what it could potentially look like, especially during the time where it was like, call them and they'll remove a negative feedback. And everyone who got negative would call. Could you imagine the sheer volume? It would be huge. They could receive like 500,000 calls a day or 250,000 calls a day, maybe more. I don't know. That'd be crazy. Rhonda Jovial Juggler says, what did Rhonda say? If anybody saw it, repost it in the chat. We cannot stand for this secret decoded message. In it to flip, it says, Beard and John learned a valuable lesson for us all. I will be implementing what they have talked about for backup recovery. Yeah, 2FA is a big one as well. Also, make sure you go through the proper channels when you're trying to recover the account. And, and be careful who you give your info to. So Kevin, Commonwealth Picker, he was on the phone with one of his cell phone providers, and it was a call that was overseas, and they were troubleshooting with him, and they asked him for his password for his cell phone provider. But the password was the same as one of his other accounts somewhere else in other account world. I'm not even going to say what. And he got a notification on his phone that somebody tried to log into your account. And that was almost right after he was on the phone with this person overseas. And he's like, gosh dang, I got to start going through and having these really secure passwords and make sure I have 2FA because, it's a problem. It's definitely a problem. Everyone's saying hi to each other. Thomas says, if I get hacked, I just hope they erase my browser history while they are in there. John says, YouTube is worse, and it isn't even close. I think John is saying that because he would reach out to YouTube and say, I'm having this problem. I don't know what to do. They would say, don't worry, it's already taken care of, or we've taken care of it already. And then it's like, well, what does that mean? Like, you took care of it already, as in you're working on getting my account back, or you took care of it as in don't contact us anymore because we've done all we can do. So that's funny. Rhonda Jovial Juggler says, wishing your loved ones a speedy recovery. Thank you. Appreciate you for that. Any updates on the Wi-Fi camera to PC time frame? IP over LAN, TCP IP, transmission protocol, internet protocol. I think you can use a Wi-Fi camera anyway to PC. You can do that through your PC, I believe. Does the camera app have that available? Or are you talking about iPhone, like direct iPhone? So if you're talking about direct iPhone photos, where when we're talking about List Easier here, where you take pictures on your phone and then it automatically uploads and does stuff for you in List Easier, all that rollout happens once UK is on solid footing. So the American site, the Canadian site, the Australian site, everything is, but UK is, it's like a wild animal. It's like trying to tame a fox. And that is requiring a lot of work. So we're in there, we're working on that. So that gets fully integrated as well. Once all those integrations happen and we know that our base is solid and the edge cases are all flushed out and everything is working beautifully, then we can start building the tower and the layers of all the other things that we've been talking about. But it's a lot of work. So flushing edge cases in the UK and making sure all those integrations are 100%, that's job one right now. That's a priority because everything else is working beautifully. And that is working well, as John J. UK is saying here. But there are just things that need to be fixed. And we're working on that. And unfortunately, that all happens in the background. It's not like you can just do an update. It requires major backend fixes, major connectivity fixes, all this other stuff. So we're working on that. Picking Anthology is laughing at what Thomas said about erasing the history, that was a good one. And it's Flip. It says, for anyone on the fence, I started using Flex on January 15th. I'm up 148% over the previous 30 days. January sales sucked, and 89% year to date over last year. Yeah, it's powerful. It's powerful. I think like here it's kind of like preaching to the choir. Like everybody knows, they get it. But I think even the people who don't use it, they're not saying it doesn't work. They're just saying they don't use it. So like, yeah, I know it works. I don't use it. And you know what? At the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with that. But for business operators now, you almost like, I don't want to say you have to, but when you see the difference, you get left behind really quick. So John J. UK, like within a month now, processed everything. I was watching a video on a listing challenge where, a group of friends are getting together and they're like, let's do this listing challenge and maybe I can do 10 a day, maybe 15. But then if you take someone like John J. UK, who's doing like 100, 200, 300 in a day, John is outpacing them by 10, 20, 30 times. And what that effectively means is that for every one business they build, John is building 10, 20, or 30. You can't compete with that. And what looks like a little bit of traction as in it to Flip It is showing, like in a month basically, or 2 months, you're up 150%. That has compounding effects as time goes on. And you just can't keep up with it. It's too powerful. It's too powerful. It's like swords versus F-15s. You can't. Like they're not even in the same realm, Yeah, John J. UK says, damn UK, it's always causing problems. UK, UK has some interesting edge cases, and I don't want to give away too much here, but the UK is the only one not built on the same infrastructure. So it's built on similar infrastructure. In fact, it's so similar that it looks the same, but it's not. So that's why there's a lot of work. So it's like, it's like two twins. And if you see one twin one day and the other twin the other day, you might think that they are the same person, but they're not. They're different people with different needs. And that's kind of what we found with the UK. So that is getting worked on every single day, goes late into the night, working on that. And once that's all complete, our base is perfectly solid. And then the rest is just features. It's adding features, interesting features. But the sum total of what's happened with all the edge cases being flushed, all the little bug swatting things, all this other stuff, it's such a monumental task. It was done in 6 months. It's incredible. So features can come quick once everything is built properly. Then you can build your tower as high as you want. Dave says, this is Super Dave, by the way, we're consistently 2 weeks out from being 2 weeks out on all the UK fixes. Truth there. Truth. Eric Bressy says, hello from the thumbnail maker. Yeah, Eric, thank you for that thumbnail. If you look at yesterday's thumbnail, I switched it because Eric sent me a few thumbnails that he did through Gemini. So I switched mine to the thumbnail that Eric produced. So I said, Eric, can you at least make it so that I'm I'm more muscular and I'm thinner, and there's this like V-shaped jacked young guy in cartoon. And I'm like, that's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. However, buyer beware. When you click on that video, it's not what you're going to get in the video. Thomas says, no flex for me yet, just doing batches for my second account, jazz CDs and vinyl. I'm up 111% from this time last year. Yeah, you're crushing it. You're crushing it. It's a different type of customer, Thomas, though. You know, the batch people, if you are in a niche, let's say you're a bookseller, you know, you're going to get so much value out of batches. So doing flex doesn't really, it works for you, but you'll get so much more out of batches. You know, you can very quickly build this huge business. You can compete with the biggest booksellers. You know, if you want to scale your systems that big, nothing's stopping you anymore. You know, there are bottlenecks. It's storage, it's getting the stuff, it's connections and everything else, but you can walk that path if you choose to. Whereas before, it would have been a lot more difficult. But the opposite side of that coin is people who like to go treasure hunting, maybe they don't want to spend all Saturday and all Sunday or every single day, every waking hour listing this stuff. So for them, flex is perfect because they can go out and have fun and go to thrift stores and flea markets and all this other stuff. They can buy kitschy things that they think are cool and they don't necessarily know the value of, and just run it through the software, and it's all taken care of. It's all taken care of for them. So, you know, it really depends on your business model and what you're doing. Then there are people who operate in batches and niches, but they still have their death pile of stuff from 10 years ago that they haven't really dealt with, and they just kind of salt that in. They mix it in until it's gone, which is, you know, so much value in that. Because if you're like, my business doesn't deal with that stuff anymore, I'm just going to donate it. Now you just capture the value from it. It's easy. Slowly, a little bit at a time. Okay, what did I do here? Mike Seller says, must be time for me to dust again. My dog just had a 5-minute sneezing fit. Oh, usually it's the other way around. We get the pet dander sneezes. John J. UK says, my gut feeling is I'm getting more international orders now than UK orders, possibly because the AI titles are more tailored to the USA. Going to track to find out. I can tell you what my opinion is that on that, John. So John's saying he's getting a lot more international orders. What's going on is you are getting ranked very well off-site. So the United States is still the world's consumer, right? That's economy-wise, they're the top dog, they're the buyers. When you are indexing high on Google, for example, or some of the LLMs, the AIs, the search AIs, if you're getting ranked high, you're capturing customers from all over the place. And what they're doing is they're going through the guest checkout and they're buying your stuff. So if you were strictly operating within the UK site, those US buyers might not ever see it. You know, maybe on the UK site, not even if your stuff is available to US buyers, maybe eBay doesn't like to show that to US buyers because the shipping charges are too high. Or it takes too long to get to them in the United States. So in the US, we don't like to, I'm in Canada right now, but 30 minutes this way, we don't like to wait a long time for packages to arrive because Amazon brings it the next day or same day. So maybe your items won't get shown enough, or as much on site, but off site, it's shown to the world. So you capture those guest checkouts. It's just more stuff getting sold. Thomas, in its flip, it says, Thomas, I am too picky about my listings, which is why I originally said no. Using Flex, I can still be picky, but it's a lot faster. Yeah, exactly. But that's the point in it to flip it. There are some people who are just like, you know what? It's optimizing. I'm happy with it. I'm just going to let it do its thing and c'est la vie. That's it. There are other people that are just really, hey, my listings aren't just for buyers, they're for me too. Like I have a process that I feel comfortable with. I don't sleep well at night unless it's done this way. Yeah, Flex will give you that optionality and it will get even better. So that's coming soon too. Thomas says, yeah, I have to try it here soon. What were we even talking about? What were we talking about? I forget already. Thomas says, Josh, sorry if this is obvious or it has been discussed. Can I manage both eBay stores in one List Easier account, or do I have to open a second List Easier account? You can do it in one. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think you can do up to 5 in one account. I think. But no, you can do multiple eBay accounts attached to one List Easier account. Like we know you guys are going to fill these accounts and grow your businesses really quickly. So optionality to attach multiple stores to one List Easier account is there. Because that's what we do. We have the one List Easier account, 2 eBay accounts. Eric says, is there anyone else's store slow? I've been listing and improving and dead. Laugh out loud. What are you listing? You know, I think that's part of it too, Eric. We're busy, but last week was slow for us. This week it's like flying off the shelves. Like people got the spring in their step right now. I don't know what it is, but it's moving quick right now. Alex Beer King Picker says, I buy books in bulk, but when I get restless, I still go cherry picking at thrift stores. I used to do that too. In fact, I still like to go to antique malls just to see stuff. So, I love antique photos. I love antiques, period. I really do. I love Chinese antiques. I love it all. I do love antiques, but you know, I even get that fix from eBay. I like to go on eBay and find rare antiques that really pique my interest. You know, I have my own saved searches and I like to go into it and be like, you know, lay in bed before I go to sleep and kind of window shop. So I really enjoy that, but sometimes I just like going to the antique mall and getting out and carrying a coffee and just looking at super cool stuff or even just testing my own knowledge. Alex, oh, we got that one already. JR Rodeffer says, Super Dave, I am back to having the previous indexing errors in Flex. I can detail, but where to send? Indexing errors. I don't think we've pushed an update, so I don't know why. JR, did you do the Control Shift R trick? Control plus Shift plus R. That will give you a hard reset and clear out any of the old crap that's being stored in your browser. So give that a shot. If that doesn't work, go to your profile and then type in customer support. Say, hey, Super Dave, it's me, JR. I got a question for you. And he will get to it because he, I think, unlike most of the other people in this circle, he's starting to feel better too. So he's operating at like 75-80% now. Picking Anthology says, batch or flex often has hundreds of same or similar, but also list many individual single items found in the weekends, setting up List Easier right now. Picking Anthology, you can go either way. If you have 100 CDs, batch. If you have a Superman figurine and a pair of Guess cutoff shorts and some, I don't know, biker mice from Mars kites, that's flex stuff if it's varied. But if you have batches of stuff, like I have a lot of CDs, I have 100 rock shirts or 50 or 20 or 10 rock shirts, run those through a batch. The thing I will say, picking Anthology, what I would do is go to List Easier U on YouTube and just watch the tutorials. They're super quick and it'll get you excited to use the software. And that time investment of, 20 or 30 minutes watching all those videos, it will make your life so much better on List Easier. But yeah, you can do both. So you don't have to choose. You can choose based on what you're listing, but you have access to it all. So, you do 100 listing credits. It's low bar. You're only spending $15. You get 100 listing credits. They don't expire. You can take the time to figure it out. You can go to whatever direction you want to go. Eric Bressy, media, books, CDs, and magazines. Keep going, Eric. Eric, question. Okay, before we go. Question. How much are you up in your 90-day total? Percentage-wise. How much are you up in your 30-day total and 90-day total? But specifically the 90-day total. Because I do have a theory that impacts things. So on both our accounts now, our 90-day total is up like 1,000%. It's like 1,000 or greater percent. I think that impacts things. I really do. Etsy is hot, 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 says Garden Sell Rethrifts, or Garden Sell Thrifts. Garden Resell Thrifts, forgive me. I think Etsy is hot because there's another one that indexes very, very well on Google. If Etsy was purely relying on what happens on their platform, I don't think they would be that hot. I think they have the infrastructure to get themselves seen on Google. eBay has the infrastructure, like it's even better to get seen on Google, the LLMs, like everywhere. eBay's listing pages are like web pages. They have it. It's just that most people don't take advantage of that, which is basically ignoring the biggest marketplace out there, which is Google and soon to be the LLMs. Picking Anthology says, knock on wood, our sales have taken off, but it's what we're selling. Up until then, it's been crickets. Now we're doing 30 orders a day until we run out of product. Picking Anthology, you start using this software, it will blow your mind. Just be patient, learn it, watch the videos, invest that little bit of time. And I can't guarantee anything, but once you use it the first couple of times and understand it, your mouth will hit the floor. You're like, oh my gosh. You'll see it. It's like the San Francisco fog when it clears out and you see the city clearly in the Golden Gate Bridge and you're like, wow, it's beautiful here. When the fog is in, you can't see it. Yeah, Garden Resell Thrift says clear the cache and maybe the cookies. Yeah, if you log into List Easier, you press Control, Shift, R, and you do it all at the same time, it does a hard refresh. Even eBay. So sometimes you'll see weird stuff coming up on eBay, or we couldn't find that, or this kind of weird, pages. Control, Shift, R. Wipes out all the old stuff, and it should, update the latest version of what's going on. Profit First Reseller says, take care of yourself, Josh. Extra time awake means you need extra nutrition and hydration to account for the extra time spent moving. I agree with you 100%. Profit First Reseller. I don't like to stay up all night. Like, that is not my thing. Sleep is so important to me. I love sleeping. It makes me happy and optimistic and all those things. And I am just this like curmudgeon, this gremlin when I don't get enough sleep. I don't like to do it. I had to, in this case I had to, but sleep, nutrition, exercise, these are like very key components in my life, especially now that, I'm a little bit further along with my business where it's not like the first 3 years where it was really just every day was a grind and so brutal and you'd make all these sacrifices in your health, which you should never do to grow your business. That's what I did. I don't recommend anybody does that. And I don't think you have to anymore. Picking Anthology says our 90-day total dropped 40%. Same stuff, same thing. Couldn't figure it out. Customer service said our account was good. Now we're starting to pick back up. Picking Anthology, you just watch what happens. Watch what happens. Watch the power. Watch the videos. Watch what happens. I'm serious. Eric's checking the numbers. Everything died overnight when I killed my promoted listings. Don't kill promoted listings. Don't kill promoted listings. I don't recommend doing that. I see others recommending it. I'm going to tell you a story, Eric. This is like true throughout humans. When we finally get things working and going well, we touch something we shouldn't. So when things are working, we have to focus on the things that are causing us not to grow more. When we touch the things that are making it work, the bad thing happens. So I think, honestly, eBay's pay to play. That's my opinion. You don't have to do pay-per-click or anything else or 300% promotions or all this other crazy nonsense. But I do believe you have to promote. It's just baked into things. You know, eBay itself is pretty much forcing everything to be promoted. So you kind of have to play that game. But I wouldn't promote offsite or do pay-per-click or any of that stuff. Okay, this is my last one here. Midwest Picker says, getting nickeled and dimed from buyers to sell anything. They usually complain about shipping cost when I use calculated shipping, as if I am charging too much. It's frustrating. Midwest Picker, you know what? When we wait for the next one, we don't sell to lose money. We're doing this for a profit at the end of the day. So if the buyers are trying to nickel and dime you, I just put it in my head that, you know what? You probably can't afford this item. That's no knock on them, but maybe this $20 tape measure is not for you. There's nothing worse than meeting them after this big story of, why they can't pay that much and blah, blah, blah. And then you come down and you meet them and you ship it out and then you get the return because they couldn't afford it. So for me, you know what? If you can't get it, I'm willing to work with you a little bit, but after a while, it's just sayonara. Okay, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I am looking forward to a good night's sleep. I hope you all get a good night's sleep too, and we will see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take care, everybody.